With all the anti-trans legislation and rhetoric going out there, I wanted to go ahead and share my 5 tips on how to be a better trans ally in the classroom. Number 1, and hopefully you're already doing this, shut down transphobic jokes when they happen in the classroom, even if they don't seem like a big deal. Do be a little bit delicate with how you do this. If you're not sure if a student is making a joke to be harmful or if they're trying to potentially express that they may be feeling different than the gender that they have been associated with their entire life, I would check in one-on-one. Number 2, hopefully you're already asking students for their pronouns and respecting any new names or pronouns that they're giving you. But if you're not asking them when and where it's safe to share them, make sure that you're doing that. This is especially important if you work in a small school like I do, where maybe you have the student in multiple classes or you teach with their family members, whether that's a parent who works at the school or a sibling who's in one of your classes. So I usually ask, is it safe for me to use your name and pronouns in the classroom? Is it safe for me to use your name and pronouns with other teachers and staff? Is it safe for me to use your name and pronouns when I call home? And they'll let you know. And if they kind of waffle and seem unsure, always err on the side of protecting the student. Tip number 3, if the student is okay with the name and pronouns being shared with other staff members and used by other staff members, correct them when they use the wrong name or misgender the student. This is probably going to feel pretty uncomfortable, especially if it's someone who's been there longer than you or who's in a position of power over you, especially an admin. But imagine how much more scary and uncomfortable it is to be a 13-year-old trying to correct people on your own name and pronouns versus being the adult in the room with some sense of power. You have privilege and power. Use it. Tip number 4. Make sure that when you are creating problems for classwork or homework that you include diverse characters. For example, whenever I write math problems, I will go in and change some of the characters so that they have what look like maybe traditionally female names but use he, him pronouns, or some characters that have they, them pronouns. Generally, the students who are going to be upset about it don't notice, and the students who need to see it and feel seen. Also, it's 2023, people. Non-binary people exist. Most of them use they, them pronouns. Put them in a math problem. And finally, tip number 5. Don't forget this one. This is super important. If the student is out with their name or pronouns in your classroom, please make sure to write it on your subnotes. Nothing is worse than a kid who usually is safe and comfortable in your room being misgendered or dead named by your substitute teacher, who, by the way, didn't mean to and now feels awful. It's our job to make our classrooms safe spaces.